Welcome to the CWC Podcast with your host, David Selby, Justin Reed, and Andy Horton.
Hello, and welcome to the CWC Podcast. I'm your host, David Selby, and I'm joined by my co-host, Justin Reed, tonight. And in today's show, we are going to have Michael and Cecilia Berry join us to talk about their race down in Sparkman, Arkansas, the Cowcutter Chuckwagon Races. They just had their first race this year in 2024, so I'm excited to get kind of their take on hosting a race for the first time. And then later in the show, we are going to unveil some very important information about the CWC Awards.
Wow, David. What's the CWC Awards?
So glad you asked there, Justin, because the CWC Awards are a new thing. Nobody would have heard about them before. It's our chance to take your nominations along with our own nominations, and we're going to deliver some much-deserved credit to the Chuckwagon community and the players involved. But stick around and learn more on today's show. Yeah, you nailed your cue there. Thanks, man. That was great. How you doing? How you doing tonight? What have you been up to?
Oh, been working, been getting Christmas stuff together. What about yourself?
Well, yeah, it is pretty much Christmas time now, and because of the way our schedules are going to work, we probably are going to be like late this year putting up our tree and everything because we are last second deciding to go see my family when we were going to just stay home, which that weekend we would put up the tree and do all that. But we're going to go down to Branson. We're going to see my folks who live about 20 minutes outside of Branson, and we're going to go see a Christmas show. Miranda has never been to a show in Branson, so I'm going to treat her to that. And, I grew up with all that stuff. So I'm just like, yeah, this is what you do. You go to Solar City and you see the Christmas lights and you go to the shows, which my mom, a lot of people don't know this, but I've brought it up before, but my mom was a ventriloquist my whole life growing up. And that's why we lived near Branson, because she went to work as a ventriloquist in the Branson shows and worked for Roy Clark and Boxcar Willie and Jim Stafford and all these people over the years. And so I pretty much grew up kind of like at the shows. So I didn't go to as many shows. I would just be at the shows because my mom was performing. So I was that kid that was like crawling around in the seats, like during the show. Like, I don't know why my mom would just let me go wander. But I can remember literally like crawling around between like the rows of seats, like in the back of the theater, like while the show is going on. I'm sure people were like, what the hell is that kid doing? So whatever.
Man. So when you're doing that December, like the first weekend of December, or?
No, we're going down next weekend. So it's like the 28th is Thanksgiving, the Thursday, and then we'll go and see a show on Saturday.
Oh, so you wait until the weekend after Thanksgiving to put all your stuff up?
Yeah, normally because Christmas is after Thanksgiving. So we always set stuff up after Thanksgiving, and so we're normally pretty religious about that. Like we hold it all in, and then we have Thanksgiving. And by the way, we have also got decorations up for Thanksgiving. So like it would be a crime to not use all of those.
Right.
This is like almost a monthly thing at this point. I don't know. It's like you have Halloween, which is actually different. The Halloween decorations are different than Thanksgiving. And so you do the harvest look or whatever.
Right.
And then, you swap all that out and you bring out the big guns for Christmas.
So what do you say to people that do decorate before Thanksgiving?
Well, I would say I grew up a little differently than you did, and you're wrong. It's not Christmas yet until December 1st, and then you celebrate Christmas the whole month, and then after that you procrastinate and you leave that crap up for as long as you feel like having a Christmas hangover, like post Christmas time. That's just how it goes for me. But,
well, I understand that, but and I was going to wait till after Thanksgiving, as I typically do.
Okay.
However, I decided that I was going to change all the decorations this year. Typically do the whole red and green, you know. But this year I decided I was going to do like a black, gold, and white theme, and went and bought all this stuff. Spent well over $1,000,
Okay.
and didn't want to have to put it in storage, and didn't want to put it in a spare room. So I was like, you know what? I'll just put it up. So I did, and
Okay.
then
Okay.
and then I was like, well, since the Christmas stuff is up, might as well start watching Christmas movies. So
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing.
Man, you almost can't avoid starting Christmas before December. I mean, now Black Friday is not Black Friday. It's really incredible what America has done with like the shopping season and the whole thing, because like it was like all this anticipation for Black Friday, which is the day after Thanksgiving.
Right.
And now the whole month of November is like Black Friday month. And it's like it's so stupid, but you have to classify it as that, because that's like the trigger that people have, is they need to hear that it's not just a sale, it's a Black Friday sale, which means
Right.
that people could get killed in it. And
Well, that's the whole point, is that they wanted to stop people from killing people.
yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah. And kudos to all the retail stores that people are shopping online at anymore to spreading that stuff out. But you guys, hey, let's just go back, because it's rough and it's rowdy, but people love it. What else do you have to do on Friday? You got nothing else to do on Friday after Thanksgiving other than watch the Chiefs this year on Friday, because they're playing at 2:00. I don't know why I know that, maybe because they're the best team in the NFL, but we'll be watching the Chiefs on Friday. And everybody else, go to the stores. You have the whole weekend to do it. It's a great weekend, right? It's a great time. Like, it's so crazy
Sure.
and bustly. Like, I can't imagine we're going to be able to get around Branson very quickly that weekend. It's
Oh,
crazy in Branson.
probably not, but down here in Arkansas, they don't make as big of a fuss anymore about it.
Yeah.
They don't have lines out the door at 5:00 in the morning.
Oh, yeah. I remember I did that one time at Best Buy,
Oh yeah.
and I got so tired in the middle of the night that, like, it was me and like a friend, and I think I went to my car and took a little nap and then came back, and then I didn't really have a goal. I didn't know what I was going to get. You just the hype and the anticipation was so big that you were like, this is what you do. And so we get into the store, we're within the first couple hundred people into the store. We didn't have anything free handed to us. And we go in and we look at all the stuff, and like, a $600 TV is now a $300 TV. And I'm like, do I really need a $300 TV? And I looked around and I realized I didn't really need anything.
Yeah, it's a $600 TV that's bumped down to a $300 TV, but it's only worth about $200. So yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I didn't buy anything. I just went home and I was like, I'm never doing that again. And I was really tired, and I learned my lesson.
I hear you.
If you're not the first like 10 people in line that you maybe get something for free, then it's just so stupid. Like,
yeah,
don't even do it. So I don't know.
You were just advocating for people to do it, and now you're like, don't even do it.
I know it. Just go out and shop that day, but don't get up at, don't not sleep, and don't get up like before daylight. Just go and enjoy the day. Get stuck in some traffic, turn on some Christmas music, talk about the good old days. Don't drink and drive.
Yeah.
What are you drinking tonight?
Water.
Yeah, me too. Totally. All right. So what do you say we get into this thing? So if you have not already, go check out the Josh Spain interview that I did last week. We were at Agzaga.com headquarters in Sheldon, Missouri, where I was able to have a one-on-one interview with Josh Spain. He talks about the Baker Spain Stampede. He talks about that event and how they've started it, really like 10 or 15 years leading up to that. It's really a solid interview as far as just getting the background of somebody that did one of these events, that does one of these events, and what they're doing at Baker Spain in particular is really cool, which their ranch is called the Goat Ranch. But They have the Bakerspain Stampede Chuckwagon Race, which there's so much going on, and then you have the concerts and everything, and then in the fall they have their Party in the Pasture, and that's like a one big one-off concert, but still camping on the weekend and stuff. And it's a neat thing what they've done over there, and I highly recommend listening to that one. It's a long one. It's like over an hour and 20 minutes long. It was a long show, and you heard it here. I cut out like 45 minutes plus of dialogue because the show was just so long. So it's good stuff. Go check it out. And then, yeah, if you are not subscribed to Relive the Ride at chuckwagonchannel.com, go over there, $11 a month, and you can save 25% if you just sign up for a year. And that's $99 for the year. You can cancel anytime. We need you to support the Chuckwagon channel so we can keep bringing awesome content to you guys. Furthermore, if you want to sponsor the show, just like Exaga.com did last week, just get in touch with us and we will send you sponsorship information, let you know what we can do there to work with you. This episode's coming to you on Thursday, November 21st, but we are recording a day early. Thank the heavens, because we got to cut out all that profanity and those political rants that we're going to get from Justin throughout the show. Those just outbursts.
Right.
But yeah, I wanted to share a couple things with the upcoming shows that we're going to have. We're doing a little bit better about planning out ahead. And so this is the tentative schedule. And there's a couple of people on here that I haven't even talked to them yet about locking it down. Next weekend, we've locked down Moon Swanson. He does the 1836 race down in Natchez, Texas. And we'll have him on to talk about his event. December 5th is a Thursday as well. These are all Thursday dates. We're going to have Todd and Cindy Wheeler, and we will talk about their race down in Malvern, Arkansas, the Whiskey Ridge Chuckwagon Races, which is kind of the home race for Justin over there as well. And then December 12th, we are hoping to have Gerald and Nova Burkhalter of B&B Farms. They have a race, and they are avid competitors in the Chuckwagon racing realm. And we will talk to them about kind of their experience with having a race, but also going and racing at Clinton and being, high level competitors, and kind of their story over this past year, especially. And then we will have what I would call our Christmas show, December 19th. We're going to be in Clinton, Arkansas. Haven't figured out for sure yet if we'll go live on that, but we are going to come to you from the Hogs and Heifers Sports Bar in Clinton, and they're sponsoring the show, and they're going to have some specials and things like that, maybe a couple cocktails for Justin over here that we'll be trying out, and we're just going to have a good time with Dapple there. And that's one of those shows that I've got to travel to Clinton to deliver the DVDs. If you haven't ordered your DVD, go to chuckwagonraces.com and order that. You're just going to call the furniture store basically and let them know that you need a DVD. So that's our Christmas show. And then January 2nd will be our next show. So we will take the week of Christmas off. January 2nd, we will have what I would call our New Year's show, but also our awards show. So stick around after we get done with our interview. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. So getting back over to my notes here. What do you think? We think we ought to bring in a Cowcutter guest here, huh?
Yeah.
So we've got Michael and Cecilia. You were down there at their race, before they get on and they get to hear about all this. What'd you think of their race personally?
I thought it was a decent race. It was wide open. They had lush green grass. So that helps most teams. It's better than mud. It's better than slick dust, but it can be difficult when you get that just that dew on that grass. It can make it slick as snot. But yeah, overall I think it was a good race.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I think they're kind of parking and setup around the track was a little hindered. I would like to see maybe some changes in that. But other than that, because they only had the spectators really on the one side. So.
Man, yeah. Now that I think about it, when you kind of bring it up, I just remember feeling like, so the way I shot that race was, rather than be on one side of the track, I was almost like back at the top of the track where the racers would go away from me and go around the U and finish over to my left, basically. But
Yeah.
The way, like, a lot of people said great things about the track. Good track. People loved it for racing. There's a little bit of like a slight rise in the middle of the track, so it makes it hard to see kind of the other side if you aren't raised up, kind of up off the ground. And I was up on the back of a truck and having to use every bit of that zoom that was on my camera to try to shoot at the end. It just felt massive. Like the racetrack felt massive because of how far away everybody got from me in that race. But those are the kinds of things that you learn from it, and you try to remedy that the next time you come and shoot it again. Which I don't think I was flying a drone at that race. I don't believe, and so that was probably another thing that didn't help me, is I wasn't prepared. I may not have had my drone that I have now at the time, so I was just locked down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was a very spring type race. It was the first weekend in April, and a lot of good things were said about it. I remember interviewing several racers, and they all said that they really liked the grass. They liked the track. It was a great first time event. You talk about having a good turnout at a first time event. That went really well. There was, 70 or 80 or something teams. Like, they had a good turnout. So pretty solid. Where'd you camp that week? Did you tent it up, or did you stay in a camper?
I did not. So I stayed.
How far is Sparkman?
Well, it's real close to Camden, so I stayed at Alex's house. Yeah, but I was watching Landon that weekend with my mom.
That.
Yep. So
did you go to the race at all?
Yeah, I was there both days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you're just helping out.
Yeah, I was. Just
that was right.
Out.
So that was before you started doing the starting job.
Right. Yeah, that was actually the weekend. Right. It was the weekend before we went to Alabama, the next race.
Yeah, Tuscumbia.
Yeah, and so that's the one that Alex came up to me and was like, how you feel about starting? I was like, I'll fill in wherever they need me to. And he goes, okay, well, it's decided, and you'll probably start next race. I'm like, okay.
What a great story. We should do a documentary on that. That's really good.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Man, that's crazy. And then the rest is history. Now you're just like Pistol Pete.
Yeah, what did they call me? Potty mouth pistola. That's what they called me.
Yeah, because you got dirty mouth, man.
That's because every time you say I have a potty mouth. So
what? Are you saying that the Chuckwagon channel, the podcast, just made this up and you don't actually like cuss a whole lot?
Anyways, what's the next question?
All right. Well, what do you say we get our guests in here? Are they in the waiting room?
Yes.
All right. Well, let's get them in here and let's welcome them, and we'll see if they've got their audio video all set up.
All right.
Hey, all right. What's up, guys?
Hey, how are you?
We're doing fantastic. Michael and Cecilia Berry. It's good to see you guys. And look at that. You got it all set up. You guys are symmetrically on the left and the right side of the screen. Did you bring in like a
Christmas
crew?
Decorations?
Yeah, if you guys were here, if you would have been here like 15 minutes ago, you would have known that we were debating over whether or not you do the decorations before or after Thanksgiving, and I think we know the answer, Cecilia.
That turkey tastes the same with the Christmas tree.
I like that.
Sounds like a politician's response there. Well, I am glad to hear that you guys are well into your season of holidays and enjoying that. We will have Thanksgiving next week. So, man, that's a week away. That's crazy. What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving?
We get kind of spread thin during Thanksgiving. You got, Thanksgiving with like our family and my mom's family, and then we go to Star City to my mother-in-law's over there, and then my mom's over there. So, and then got one or two in between if we can somehow manage to schedule it all in.
And then
Just
his
get
wife
those
got the
meals.
bright idea to send the kids to the Josie Barrel Clinic for Thanksgiving. So,
Oh man.
Hey, it happens. It happens. You said Star City. Do y'all ever go to that Halloween thing they have in that camping park?
yes.
At one point in time, we was a part of that.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yep.
wow. That's awesome. I know some people in Star City. That's why I said that. But
Yeah, I think the
Yeah, you
last
guys
time we
aren't.
did it, they had a little bit over 2,000 trick or treaters come through.
oh yeah, it was always a spectacle.
Well, a little bit of background for you guys here. Michael and Cecilia Berry, they are the owners and the founders of the Cowcutter Chuckwagon Races down there in Sparkman, Arkansas. They just had their first year of hosting that race. It was the first weekend of April. It kicked off the year for just about everybody that was involved with chuckwagon racing, and it was also the first sanctioned race of the year. So the association was there. And it went so well, in fact, that Justin decided he wanted to take up a career as a starter for the association after he came to your race, actually.
Awesome.
Yeah, so he
Yep. That's
became,
what happened.
he just knew that was the twinkle in his eye that he knew he needed to become a starter. So now he fires
That's
that
right.
pistol at all the association races. So what was it like putting on the race for the first time? Was it everything that you were expecting?
To be honest, we didn't really know what to expect. On the front end, we put in a lot of long hours, trying to get things ready and prepared and try to cross all your T's and dot all your I's and then get together a crew of people that would come help you brainstorm and think about what are we going to miss? What do we need to do here? What do we need to do there? And just try to get some ideas, and then we got with like the local and county governments, the county judge, sheriff, stuff like that, and let them know there's going to be a lot of traffic. We need to block this road off. And your OEM manager, even though we live in rural America, that way they would know if we had any incident that this would be the way to come in, this would be the way to come out. Uh, God forbid we had a major incident, but we also had a helicopter landing pad, set up right here at town at the old baseball field, things like that, just on that end of things. And then told all the
Wow.
local businesses, hey, we got a bunch of people coming to town, so stock up on, all your supplies and things like that. And the lady at DG, she's like, you told us, but we didn't really accommodate for near as many people as what you had. I mean, we were thinking you're going to have like 300 or 400 people, not like tens of dozens of hundreds of. So we should have stocked up like 4 or 5 times of what we did. So, but we will next year.
Yeah. Well,
David,
that's a wake up call.
before we get completely into it, I have a question real quick. So, how did you get started? Like, how did y'all decide that y'all wanted to do this, or what was that thought process like?
So it's kind of crazy. So I own a logging business on top of everything else that we do, and Houston Blankenship, Lamont Blankenship, and Tommy Blankenship work for me in the woods. So they were getting ready to go to the banquet, and we logged here on the place, and kind of it's been kind of our headquarters, to move about this and that. And they were looking for something, some more tracks in Arkansas, and said, your hay meadow would be like an awesome spot. It'd be, would y'all be interested in having a race? So I was like, I mean, yeah, I'm sure we can accommodate, whatever we need to do. And so he brought it up in front of the board, and the board just, before their annual meeting is in January, some of the board members come down here and looked and verified and said, oh, yeah, there's plenty of room here. There's plenty to do. And, and we're kind of secluded. We're like 3 miles from the big metropolis of Sparkman. So,
Right.
the population size is like 400 people, and some change. But so it kind of worked out. You're centrally located. You're like 30 minutes from I-30, or 30 minutes from Camden, or 30 minutes from Fordyce, right here in the middle of things. So uh, it kind of worked out, and I guess basically a seed was planted, and then it kind of went from there. And then I got the phone call my wife carries the mail, so we weren't able to make the meeting. She couldn't get off that Saturday, so a lot of days she don't get off till 3 or 3:30, and I think the meeting was at what 1:30, 1 or 1:30, something like that. So tell them, so yeah, we're interested. You can contact us by phone, but we can't be there for the meeting. So
Yeah. Well, I was there, Justin was there, and it was pretty unanimous. Everybody was right on board with it. It was,
Yep.
and I remember Brad saying they had looked at it. Brad House had looked at it, and he said that it was good to go. And yeah, it was pretty. It was really hard to pass things at the board meetings, at those annual meetings. It's like, it was honestly, it was like a no brainer. And coming down there for the event was really good. Cecilia, so let's backtrack a little bit here. When did you guys decide that you wanted to kind of have like a donation or wanted to allocate proceeds to something there in town, and kind of elaborate on that for me a little bit?
I guess whenever we first started talking about it, we just decided, this would be an excellent way to bring people into the town as well as raise money for what we're wanting to do for the kids because, most people, they're going to support kids, not much as adults and things like that. But when you get kids involved, people go above and beyond to do what needs to be done and donate money for those kids. I helped put together a holiday cheer program here in our little town. I'm no longer over that, but when I did do that, at any point in time that you say, okay, we are reaching out because we are going to put something back into our town. Um, People just around here, they come out of the woodwork for that. They just love to see more stuff come here because we don't have a whole lot. Used to be a really booming town a long time ago, and it all kind of went down, after they closed the railroad down and those kinds of things. But as soon as we mentioned it, everybody was on board. Yeah, let's do that for a new rodeo arena. Let's put this in. And the school wanted to put in a rodeo arena, and we're still working on that. But all of the funds go towards that.
It's awesome. Well, that was. I don't think I knew anything about that until I got down there, or at least until I started talking to you about it on the phone, and you had mentioned what that was going to be. And then when I got down there and I got to see Sparkman, the thriving metropolis of Sparkman, Arkansas. How many people live in Sparkman, by the way?
I think we're right at 457.
Right. So super small town.
Yeah.
And based on the story you told me, there's been kind of a decline over the years and kind of the workforce and everything there. And so the school has suffered a little bit from that. Like I went out to the football field that you talked about where the rodeo arena may be, and it was abandoned. It was like the stands are falling apart. And it's kind of a sad sight. And then getting to interview you guys and hear about what you're trying to do to push some of those proceeds over towards that, I thought that was just fantastic. How did that go in year one? Was there some progress made there? Where's that at now?
we're still in the I guess the basic fundamentals. We thought that we found a rodeo arena to purchase, and we were gonna, I guess, amongst our families, we were just gonna buy it, and then we were gonna put it up, and then extend onto that with the material and things that we have to make it full length, full width, because the football field is big enough to have a professional size arena. That way you can do everything. You can do all your roping stuff with a return alley. You can do all your bucking stock and all that. But I think it was a little miscommunication between the people we were buying it from, and the guy was supposed to get back with me, didn't get back with me. I'm contacting him, whatever, and then he said, "Hey, you actually sold it to somebody else." I was like, "Okay." So we just figured that was just a blessing in disguise. We've actually been having Cowboy Church with Riding for the Brand, our Roping for Christ Ministries. We've been having Cowboy Church down there on Sunday afternoons at 1:30?
2:30.
2:30.
And he is actually the guy that did our cowboy church for the Chuckwagon races as well.
That's awesome.
So
Well, I think it's cool.
we've had a
Go ahead.
couple. We've had a couple of fundraisers, and we had to cross some hurdles as far as getting all that. You want a 501c nonprofit organization there, so we've had trouble getting. It's called like a ID me. So you have to get the federal government to be able to recognize your face and go through all the steps with it. We've been using our local accountant, and he's also a tax lawyer to help us make sure that we've got everything right, and then get all your documents. That way you can open up your bank account at the local bank here, and people can donate money there. And we've got plans to do more fundraisers coming up to raise money, because if you just shot from the hip and just go buy a brand new one, it could be anywhere from $30,000 to $80,000, depends on what brand, what size, with your things in the back. But we were trying to get down on the cheaper end on the front end and just do more labor and put up some drill stem pipe and different things like that, and make it like a permanent fixture and kind of make it our own.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. And so, just to be clear, are you guys still looking at the high school area there, or are you looking at other venues?
We're still looking at the high school. We were thinking that, talking with the school and things like that, to our knowledge, there's not another school that actually has a rodeo facility on the grounds, on the premises. To our knowledge, there may be one out there, but I'm not aware of one. There are several kids in the community that want to learn how to ride horses, horsemanship, or different things. You'll be able to use it for like 4-H. You want to show your pigs or your cows or things like that. You might have a practice venue. I know they used to have, like in Camden, the Washita County Fair, and it was kind of a big thing. But we're in Dallas County. They have a small fairgrounds over there that they do some things with, but I don't really know to what extent. So this would give them an avenue if they wanted to grow and do bigger and have a larger extent of things. You'd have an alternate facility, that would be able to adapt to some bigger animals.
Man, that's super cool. Go ahead, Justin.
So are y'all taking donations year round? And if so, how can somebody donate?
Absolutely. I mean, we will never turn down money for that. You can mail it to us here at 179 Dallas 232 Sparkman. You can contact us through Facebook, or we have Cash App, and it's Cowcutter 22. Just any way that you can get in touch with us, we can work something out or whatever.
And we've been working with the local bank, Riverside Bank here in Sparkman, will be where the account is set up at. And I think we're waiting on one piece of paper to come back for them, and that way they can verify and make sure everything's good for their auditors and things like that. But it's probably taken us 6 months.
It's a struggle.
Right. Yeah. None of that stuff's ever as easy as you would think it is. So kudos to you guys for actually sticking it out and going after this, because it's like it should be easy to just help people or do things for a good cause, but yeah, there's always it's always harder than it looks. And no, I just give you guys all the credit. I think it's awesome that you're actually creating. You've created something that can, hopefully siphon those donations and siphon the money into something that's going to be for a really good cause. And you guys' heart is in a great place. And just hearing you, Michael, talk about how you guys aren't just looking for something that you throw money at it and it just appears and there it is. You guys are going to put in the work, and I think that that's very admirable. So does having the logging business, does that give you some help on materials that you would need to do some of this stuff?
Actually, one of the local sawmills here in town, Mr. Donnie White, he's going to donate some lumber, and he's already had it treated for the bleacher boards and different things like that. And of course, we just provide the labor for that. As far as tear down, was plan a work day when the time comes, and just kind of grow it from there, kind of deal. And
That's awesome. Well,
that was kind of our plan. And we got a bunch of young kids that are wanting to learn to rope and whenever you do things like that, you want to make it where that you could have a big roping that could continually go on without having to stop the action in the arena to work your cattle back and forth, whether it's roping steers or roping calves or whatever. So I'm going to put up a return alley down through there, and that way you can just continually rope and different things like that. So that's kind of some of the things that we'd like to do.
Yeah, man, that's fantastic. So to kind of get back on to talking about you guys' racetrack and what you're doing with your event there, we know that things are going to a good cause, but let's talk about your event. So, you hosted your first event. I thought it went really well. Can you guys kind of talk about maybe some of the successes and the struggles that you had hosting your first ever Chuckwagon race down there in Sparkman?
I guess not knowing what to expect, you had to, one thing that, that was brought up, I guess one of the things that kind of in the backside of your mind is you have to have so many people that can check Coggins for the state of Arkansas. So we actually had to get a class done like the week or 2 weeks before we had it. That way somebody would be available to check Coggins around the clock, and make sure everybody's horses were safe and, and different things like that. That was kind of one of the big kickers that we didn't think about till closer to time. Whenever you put on an event like this, you don't really know how many people to expect, and then whenever the teams start calling in, then you're like, well, if I've got 50 teams, then does that mean I have 4 people per team, or is that team going to have, the team name have 3 groups with it, or, so you're trying to figure out how many people you got coming, and then all of a sudden you just pray real hard about it, and you just plan for whatever it's going to be and just let it happen. And we've had some great friends that kind of stepped up, worked the gate for us and different things, and, kind of helped out that way. And then our thing was entertainment. What kind of entertainment do you get? What kind of music does, everybody may not like, the old school country, the new school country. I mean, how do you pick a genre that everybody will be happy with? And then throughout the day, what's it going to take? The goat roping that we had come was a major hit. I mean, I looked up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, they're still roping goats. So I was like, that's pretty wild. There's a lot of people that like, the mutton busting, the sheep riding, and Brian Holder and his wife Andrea, they gave away a buckle, and it was kind of amazing to see. And being a part of putting this on, I wasn't everywhere I could see everything that went on, but afterwards watching your video and different things like that, it kind of helped me catch up to see what all I was missing, because there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, that takes place. So, and then just kind of went from there.
Yeah. Well, the feedback that I got was almost all of it was really good. I mean, if you ask a racer, or if you ask someone to throw out an idea for something that could be different or better, they're going to almost always do it. But the off the cuff feedback was really good for the event. Is that similar to what you guys were hearing? What were people telling you guys throughout the week?
Everybody I had my mother-in-law and, them ride around on the mule, and, the Kawasaki mule, and just ride around and meet and greet everybody. Just say, hey, what can we do to make things better? What can we do? Are we missing something? Is there something you need that we don't have? Or, we'd like some ice. I said, okay, or we need some hay. So we had some square bales of hay brought in, and I want to say they sold for like $5-7 a piece, something like that. It wasn't a whole lot, Instead of going to your local feed store or something, be $12 or whatever. But this guy tried to help us, and it was all fertilized, and aerated and all that. So it was good quality hay, and some people wanted some ice, so I called, make sure we had plenty of ice already stocked up, at the store right down the road. I had him change his hours, stay open longer. Chapel Creek, Dusty Dotson and his wife Sherry. Hey, can you accommodate, longer hours, and can you open, like on Sundays, and you make sure that you got things in line and this and that. So he even had some sacks of all grain, different things that he wouldn't normally keep, just in case somebody needed something, right here close by. And he was, he said, I'll be reachable by phone anytime, day or night. So if you need something, just let me know. And we'll be sure to have plenty of gas, plenty of diesel, things like that also. And kept a hot box jam full and different things. And then he's also got like a meat market side of things. So I always try to feed my workers, my people, or whatever. So we actually he cut me a good deal on a ribeye. So we bought a whole ribeye and had it cut up and different things. So
That's
One
cool.
of the things that we had heard people want was showers. People that don't have living quarters within their trailers, they wanted a place to shower. So, um, our plan for this coming year, I told Nancy we were interested for next year. So, if we get to do that, and then our plan is to put in some hot showers somewhere up there close so that people can get a shower if that's what they want to do. Just different things, and we don't want people to think, if there is something, we want people to be able to come to us and tell us that. We want to be able, we're an open book. Here we are. If you want something done better, you want to see something different, if you've got an opinion, something that can help us make things better, we want to hear that. We don't want you to think you're going to hurt our feelings, by no means, because that's not going to
Right.
happen. We'd rather know, and that way we can fix it and make it better.
Yeah, I thought you guys, based on everything that I heard, everybody just had a great experience that week, especially because everybody comes in there having all the racers have been to other races, right? So they come in to dissect what you've done, and the feedback was so good. People said that they really liked the track, and I think that that's a major one for the racers. To go out there, the grass was good, and I know at the start of April that could probably be hit and miss for you guys a little bit down there, but I mean it was great. Everybody was so happy with it. Were you getting good feedback as well when people were talking to you about the racetrack?
yeah, we had several people tell us it's fast track, really fast track. They liked it, and they was kind of same thing worried about the water level, water table, being high and your grounds would be wet or something like that. Lucky for us here at the farm, we live on one of the highest gravel hills, in the county. So water traditionally don't affect us too much. Yeah,
Yeah.
there are some spots. Yeah, there's probably 8 springs on the place. So yeah, you can get down close to one of the springs, and you can find plenty of mud that no come from here mud we call it. But there's a few wet places here and there. But we've tried to. We got plans to do some things. That way if the weather doesn't turn out as good, that way you got some kind of different avenue or whatever. Some kind of shed to get under, some kind of something along the line. So that's what I was told I was doing here coming up.
Yeah.
After between Thanksgiving and New Year's. So
Yeah, right. Well, I'm excited to see what you guys do with it because I know that you've got a really good foundation started there. And you kind of mentioned you kind of got people together and maybe you have a little bit of a team or a crew of people that kind of help out on this. Have you guys gotten together with that team yet? And I know you mentioned showers. Were there other things that are kind of in your minds for 2025 that you're wanting to kind of go and work on and develop?
So we actually we thinned a bunch of timber up here on the backside of the race field on the south end and the east end. Actually, Houston and Lamont, run the equipment or whatever. And normally I drive a truck or just fill in mechanic wherever I need to. So we cleared some more land, off and kind of thinned it out where the certain places you can back your horse trailer right up and then you put your horses in the shade or, things like that. That way, they're not out in the wide open and in the sunshine or in the wind or whatever. Like a lot of places you go to, you're in the direct sun. So you ought to have a shady spot at some point in time. If you want to put your lawn chairs behind your camper, your trailer or whatever, you ought to be able to find a shaded spot or something like that. So that's some things we've been working on.
We've also got barbed wire fence going up around the whole perimeter of the place. That way, if we have horses or mules that get loose, throughout the night or whatever, then they stay right here. That way, we don't have to go chase them downtown or anything like that. Our team kind of consists of people that we are with all the time. We rodeo with these people. They all live within 10 or 15 miles of us, and we're all really, really good friends, and we could not have done it without them at all. And we hope that they're here for next year as well.
That's super cool. And I think that's, I've had the pleasure of going to a lot of different tracks over the last year, especially because of the Chuckwagon channel and going to more races. And I take a big interest in kind of what's going on behind the scenes and stuff. And I think that one of the things that is consistent with the success that different tracks have is that they have a team of people or a group of people that are close knit and that they all get along, and it makes sense to them that this is kind of a hobby for them, that they all kind of have this common goal of working towards something. And so and literally last week I interviewed Josh Spain from the Baker Spain Stampede up here in Missouri, and same thing for him. He's got a group of guys, this core group of people, and they're going into year 9 and in 2025, and he just has this core group of guys that they talk about they talk about the different things they want to do. They have common goals, and they go and work on it together. And it's something that they can all get behind. And it sounds like you guys have something similar going on there. And so if I was going to bet on something, I would bet on success for you guys. And it sounds like we're having another event here in April. If it's up to you guys, is that going to be the same weekend again? Is that kind of where your thoughts are at?
As far as we know, yes. Miss Nancy messaged me. I think it's the 6th and the 7th of next year. So I told her, yes, let's do it. We're ready. So
that's cool.
I'm glad she says she's ready. I ain't got everything ready, but I mean,
he's not ready, but I'm ready.
Well, if you guys can pull it together like you did between January and April this year, I'm sure you're just gonna build on what you started last year. And it looks like Saturday is the 5th, so the 5th and the 6th.
Okay.
It was the 6th and the 7th this in 2024. It looks like
Okay.
the 5th and the 6th in 2025. But it's great because it's that first time that people can get out and race. And do you guys remember how many teams you had? I feel like it was like 70 to 80 or something.
It was 72, I think.
Okay. Yeah, it was a good turnout. I mean, you guys had a great kickoff for the year of racing, and the weather was great too, which you always love it when that happens. But yeah, I enjoyed myself. My only complaint is I felt like I wasn't tall enough because your track was so big and it had just a slight hump over the middle. And this isn't a genuine complaint. Like, this is just literally me. Was the camera guy? I wish I could be up in the 10-story building, or
Right.
on a bluff like down at Clinton. And I know that that's not just built into the face of everybody's property, but yeah, that was probably my biggest thing. Is I was like, man, I wish I could just get taller, because it's really a pretty straightforward track shape that you have, which was great for racing. And I was telling Justin, I don't think I was really flying the drone for the races at that point in time. I was just putting it up for some detail stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was kind of locked down on my tripod, which meant people were going to get really far away from me when I was filming, which you're going to get that at any track. But I thought it was great. And I appreciate you guys. It was short notice, if I remember right, that you guys went ahead and pulled the trigger and said, yeah, we want you to come, David. And you guys had me down there. The other thing I was going to say earlier, when you were talking about what you were doing, I know that when we were there was a bit of a silent auction going on as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I guess that would be my other 2 cents, is like, what else can we do to leverage that this year? Even if you did a live auction, I don't know if you've been to the West Kentucky races that they have over at Murray, Kentucky. That's Darren McChristian and his group. They do a silent auction, I think, but they do a full on like live auction where they have a lot of donations brought in, and all the proceeds from that one go to the St. Jude's Children's Hospital. But that might be somebody to talk to right there, and how they've done it. Him and his sister, they've really spearheaded and made that thing great. Gosh, I'm trying to remember if they might have broke $60,000 that they raised at their event this year.
Wow.
And so you talk about something that kind of works. They may have some really great tips for you guys, and And so I mean, maybe give Darren or his sister a call if you can get in touch with them, or if you want me to provide a number, I'm glad to do it. But
Okay.
there's something there, I think, to, like you said, getting youth involved and just asking people to open their hearts and open their wallets and donate to a cause. I mean, you guys have a great cause, and not only is it a great cause for children, it's a great cause for children that are doing something that can help them in the future. And you guys had said something in that interview about that I had with you down there about scholarships for kids that are doing rodeo. Can you talk to that a little bit more?
If you look at the percentages and things, so like if you want to be a professional baseball player or basketball player, then there's less than 0.5% that ever makes it from the high school level to the professional level. As far as local kids, I know that some of these, that's really not my forte, but there's probably 12 to 15 a year that gets a full ride, to whatever college they want to go to, and you figure out how many colleges are in the state. I mean, us personally, we know more kids that are on full ride rodeo scholarships than we do basketball, sports, softball, baseball, whatever. And then I'm looking at it from the point of view, you've got baseball, you got softball, you got track, you got football, you got all these things. Well, in rodeo, there's multiple events that way too. So your barrel racing girls or your breakaway girls, they can go, and then your rough stock guys, and then you got your ropers and different things like that. But we've been a part of different rodeo associations, like our kids, rodeo, and but we've seen every year that there's at least a dozen kids out of 100 that get a full ride scholarship. So if you figure that if you got 30, 40 people on a basketball team, out of every 4 teams, can you say, a quarter of these people get a scholarship? And I can say no.
Right.
So
no, that's awesome.
And for us, I guess, Dad, I'm dad. I'm a hard dad, I guess. So in order for you to rodeo in my household, these are the requirements. You got to have the grades. You got to have the conduct. And if you do not practice, you do not play. And then, so therefore, you got to feed your horse. You got to tend to your horse. You got to ride your horse. So, Dad's 360. I'm taking up a lot of your free time that you could get into some kind of trouble or anything else, and I'm occupying your time with, work with your horse. You got to make that bond, and you got to practice. I never said I wouldn't come out there and help you. I'll be around. Or Mom here, she's pretty good too. If you need a little act right, we don't mind helping or whatever, and so as far as that, we try to keep our kids involved. We try to keep our kids, and in return, it's kind of like a reward. You build a little fence, you work hard, or whatever, then Mom, Dad's going to pay your entry fees, and and we're going to let you keep the money on the return side. So that's going to be your way of having your third job or your extra job or something like that. So the harder you practice, then the better you'll compete. That's just our mentality. And rest assured, if you don't have the grades, we're still going to the rodeo, and we're still going to bring your horse. That way, you still got to take care of your horse and things like that. But you're going to sit up in the stands by Mom here with your little laptop, and you're going to get caught up on that homework, and you're going to get those grades up. Them D's and F's are going to be C's and better. That way, next time you can compete. So that's just our rules. That's how the household is, and they can't go to Mom and weasel Mom into just this one time. That's the rule, and that's how it is.
Right. No, I love that. I think that's great. My dad, my dad was kind of like that too, except for me, it was actually basketball. And if I didn't get to play my sports, I would have been heartbroken, So he's cracking that whip, and it sounds like you're doing the same. And the fact that you guys are trying to create opportunities for kids and youth, I guess, I just think that that's very admirable. So thank you guys for what you're doing, and anything we can do to help you along, anything we can do to help grow what you're doing, we're here for it. And once again, you had said donations can go through the mail, 179 Dallas 272. What'd you say it was?
232.
232. Okay, let me correct that. So 179 Dallas, 232 Sparkman, Arkansas. You
Yes.
guys said Cash App Cowcutter 22.
Yes.
Right on. So that's an easy way to donate. And another great way to donate is let's go get everybody we can, go to the Cowcutter Chuckwagon Races in April and make this event grow and know that it's all going towards a good cause. So I
We
really
also
appreciate you guys. Go ahead.
got a Facebook page, Cowcutter Inc.
Yes. Yep. Go check out their Facebook page. Follow them. Follow what they're doing. And yeah, guys, we appreciate you being on the show. We appreciate you sharing some of what you've been doing. Just keep it up, and let's keep growing. Let's keep growing the sport of chuckwagon, and I think that we'll see other things flourish as well. So, thank you guys very much.
Thank you for having us.
And here in a few days, I'll try to get up to the Haymet up there and take some videos. That way, if anybody got any questions about the track or things about what we're doing and changing things and different things, so I'll try to go up there and I'll post them on my Facebook page, and then you can share those along, or like I said. But anybody got any questions? I mean, feel free to contact me. I mean,
Suggestions.
suggestions. Anybody been doing it for a long time, they have a whole lot more access to things that we don't have. It's the contacts and the different things
Right.
that we're more welcome to meet with you. I mean, if you're in Tennessee, we'll have a phone call, or we'll meet you halfway, or whatever we need to do. Try to get some things figured out, or down Texas way, we'll meet somewhere and discuss things and see what we can do. And as far as the wagon racers, what. We didn't really know what to expect or different things. I mean, what can we do to help make things better? We try to put directions on there. Do not follow your GPS if you're coming this way, because it's going to send you through 17 miles of gravel, go across a 1-lane bridge. We put some barrels
Hey,
out.
I got there just fine.
So we're not hard to find, but most of the time you can find us either here at a rodeo somewhere around Benton, or Texarkana or somewhere like that. So, but we look forward to seeing everybody. Want to welcome everybody back, and I've had numerous people that told me that they didn't make the first one, but they brought a wagon tongue or they brought a wagon wheel or things like that, and said, "I knew I should have come. I knew I should have come. I just didn't know about the track. Well, now you know about the track. I mean, David's got a bunch of videos out there. You can look at the track. You can look at the races. I mean, I can FaceTime you and let you go look at it, whatever we need to do. We'll just set up a time or whatever. But, we feel like
I talked to some guys. I talked to some guys down there that were locals that said that, man, they're going to bring some horses out there next year and they're going to run them. But they were the guys that said they do more like the drag racing type.
Right.
They
The pacers and different stuff. Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. What'd you have, Justin, there?
Do y'all plan on attending the banquet this year?
Yes.
That's our plan. That's our plan.
I hear you.
So,
January 25th. We'll be there.
We'll already be close to there anyway. Yeah.
I think do we have a rodeo that weekend?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
See, our kids.
Put you on the hot seat.
Yeah, our kids do SJRA, Southern Junior Radio Association. So we're at Benton just about 2 weekends a month at the same place that the banquet's going to be.
Oh, okay.
And it's a Saturday, Sunday deal, but we still go 4 days a month.
Yeah, just bring up a couple of beds or stay in your camper for the week and see you there that next weekend.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Well, guys, we appreciate you being on here, and we'll let you go here. So, again, go check out the Cowcutter Facebook page, Cowcutter Inc. If you guys want to make donations, you can reach out to them there or send it through the mail. That information's here in the podcast. And if nothing else, make sure you get down there to Sparkman, Arkansas, first weekend of April for the Cowcutter Chuckwagon Races. Guys, thank you again. Hey, I thought that was a good interview. Those guys, I think I just love how sincerely they want to go and do something and do it all the way. And there's a good cause. It just has all the right pieces for it to be successful, in my opinion, despite the challenge that it's in a tough area. But we've seen so many times at this point that races can exist in areas that are not like, this crazy populated area. And I mean, you look at Clinton, You look at the Baker Spain Stampede. You look at Malvern, which is very it's not even in Malvern. It's out Spring Hill, or what's it called?
Social
it's
Hill.
Social Hill. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
out. It's removed. Like people have to drive out there to get to it. And yeah, I mean, the amount of people that show up and do these races, yeah, it's like if you build it, they will come. And sure enough, that's what happened for them this year. And I'm positive that it's just going to keep growing for them.
Yeah, and what's really good is to see that it's their first year, and putting on an event like this, you can get so overwhelmed with everything that's going on, especially if you didn't expect that many people, or you didn't expect quite a big of a turnout as you got, even spectator wise or racer wise. When you come in. And, I don't know if they've been to a race before, but if they haven't, and you come in and you don't know exactly what to expect, and then not getting overwhelmed, but not only that, going out there and saying, what can we do next year? What can we do differently? What would you like to see? And then just bringing those things at the same time. So like they were talking about, somebody said that, oh, we'd like to see, like to have some hay and stuff like that. So right then they just went out and got some hay, brought it back in, and that's what is so cool. And I think seeing that they didn't get overwhelmed and that they're ready for next year, if that's, if that happens, then that's awesome. And that's the way good traditions start.
Yeah, man. I just have a lot of respect and admiration for people that go and take an idea and they really go after it. And especially when there's someone that's going to be able to benefit from it, and not just the people that show up and are entertained, and the people in their city and their town that are going to receive that business, but the fact that they are serious about figuring out a rodeo arena for their youth because the sports in their school have deteriorated. Oh, what do they call it? A charter or a satellite school or something like that. Their designation was changed at some point because their school got so small, and so they weren't able to have football anymore. And so their football field is abandoned, and why not use that space for a rodeo arena? So I love that. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, like we said, if you guys want to look up any more on Sparkman, that race, as far as we know, is going to be happening in the first weekend of April. And Michael and Cecilia want your feedback, and they want to know what they can do to make that event even better and bigger. And we're excited to be there again. So, transitioning here to what everybody's still waiting around for, I'm sure, which is what again, Justin?
The CWC Awards, right?
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Justin. And it's kind of our year-end opportunity to recognize different people in different areas that aren't just your racer that wins a division, right? And in year one, this will probably be very very small. We're just going to announce it here on the podcast, and we'll probably mail you something. And we're still figuring some of that stuff out. But as of right now, I'm going to pull up the categories. So right now, the categories for nominations are Best Spill of the Year, which is a wreck, if we're being just frank. And that could be from any event. That could be from any race. It could be any spill. It could be hilarious. It could be tragic. But we are taking nominations for that category.
Like the crazy one that happened in Clinton.
Yes, and I would say that's going to be up there. Another category, Greatest Entertainer, and what I look at that as is, and some of these are a little subjective, which is fine, by the way. Entertainer meaning MC or commentator, announcer. It could even be a rodeo clown. I don't really care, but entertainer, the person that's out there putting it all on the line to entertain you, and make sure that you're getting the best experience you can at one of these events. Another category is the best interview. And so that means if you've been watching video throughout the year, if you subscribe to the channel, if you watch the YouTube videos, if you get the DVD from Chuckwagon, I'm talking it could be anybody. It could be Dan Oaf's interview. It could be a camper's interview randomly at the 33-minute mark of the DVD. I don't care. But if there was an interview that just really stuck out to you, you thought it was great, or if it's your own kid or your own husband, whatever, feel free to nominate them. Another one, the Heartwarming Moment Award. I think this is going to be a really cool one because we're going to get to go and take a moment that was moving or special and kind of put that on a pedestal for a moment, and we'll re-show that would be my goal for that heartwarming moment, something that moves you. Another award, the Most Improved. This is very much more competitor centric. So somebody that was the most improved, maybe they started the year off as a rookie, or maybe they started the year off with a new team, or they just weren't that good, but then they took it more seriously, and lo and behold, they were competing at a higher level or whatever at the end of the year, and they have something to be proud of. The biggest laugh, the funniest moment. That's one that I look forward to because a lot of funny stuff seems to happen in Chuckwagon racing. And like I said, that could be a spill. That could be an interview where somebody maybe had a couple too many. But yeah, we're taking nominations for that. Two more here. The Youth Award is what I called it. So that would be like the youth competitor or young person who set the best example of a young wagon racer. And I think last but not least was the best racetrack. So I kind of looked at that. So having that one last, I think best racetrack would be I would hope that would be one of the most coveted awards amongst the different people that are hosting races. And I think that that's a really cool one to give out because it's a really big nod to what somebody may be doing, and we just interviewed somebody who has a racetrack. And so, yeah, we will be taking nominations for all of those. And the way we're going to do that is we've created a form that we will provide that link. We'll put it in the description of this video. And we're going to elaborate on this a little bit in the coming shows here. And then we'll have a cutoff date probably before Christmas. And whenever we come up to one of these shows, I'm going to say we're probably going to do all this on January 2nd in that awards show. We will not only present the awards, but we'll talk about the other nominations. We'll talk about the honorable mentions, the reason why we felt or why we feel like people felt like nominating and raising these different competitors and people up through these nominations. And so I think it's a good thing. I hope that people will participate in it. Like I said, you'll be able to fill this form out. And the way that the form will work is you'll just literally click a link. You're going to go to the form. You will need to have your email. You will have to log in with your email, and we will not keep your email address at all. This will just be behind the scenes. I'm doing this through Google Forms. So you got to have an email to fill one out because that's going to prevent duplicates. And I will never see these email addresses. So it's just literally going to be these anonymous nominations that come in for me. We just want people to come and do it. And we want people to nominate people that maybe we don't think about so that we can go and look this stuff up and look into it a little bit deeper. We want your thoughts. We want your opinions. Again, biggest laugh, best entertainer, best spill, best video interview, heartwarming moment, most improved athlete, best racetrack, and the youth award. So, so we'll talk about that stuff on January 2nd. We're going to keep talking about these even more, and we'll figure out for sure what that award is. We've talked about a belt buckle, maybe a plaque, something like that we would mail to our winners. But this is kind of a different deal. It's a first time deal. It's a little bit subjective. It could change between this year and next year. But I look at this as something that people that win these awards, that they could be really proud of it and that they get some recognition. So thoughts on that, Justin? Do you like it? Do you hate it?
I love it. I hope people participate in it. I hope they get out there and nominate people. I think it would be a really good thing to help, honor those people that are doing this day to day. You're not getting that monetary value, and not everybody gets that buckle at the end of the weekend or that buckle at the end of the year. So I think it's a great way to show honor to other people, and I think it's a great way to really promote the sport as well. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that'll be something that continues to kind of unfold here in the coming weeks. So stay tuned. We'll talk about it again next week. Next week, we're going to have Moon Swanson from the 1836 on the show. We're excited to have him. And we will kind of talk about what they've done at their event. Very similar to what we did today, except that is an outlaw race. And so it's a little bit of a different spin on things. And I'm looking forward to having him on. And then we're just going to keep on rolling right into the holidays. If you guys don't hear from us between now and Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for listening to our show. Again, if you have not subscribed, go to chuckwagonchannel.com and you can relive the ride. You can subscribe there, or you can check out our YouTube videos that we put out these podcasts every Friday, which is a day later than what we put it out on the Chuckwagon channel. And yeah, we'd love to hear your comments and your feedback in the comments below. And like always, we will see you out on the track.
Thanks for listening to the CWC podcast.